Hello to everybody that is watching. I will be going over, or for the inspiration I got for this piece is a lantern festival and the lion dance. And the character that I'm using is a character that I saw on TikTok one time, and I really like the character design, so I'm using it for this drawing. So for the first thing I do is I have a 3D model, as you can see. I use a 3D model for most of my drawings because of the fact that I can't find any like specific references online of the pose that I'm thinking of in my head. So I use the Clip Studios 3D models that they have installed into the platform to allow me to be able to figure out what pose I want and do it accurately without having to go through a whole bunch of loops and stuff like that. And it allows me to get the exact pose I want and I can learn it right away. But for the thing about the 3D models is that I do not want to use the 3D models without like learning anything. So I always make sure I put down the construction lines and make sure I learn during the process as I go through it. As you can see, the construction lines are just made up of circles, lines, squares, anything that basically helps me figure out where things are and how I can place things down. Then I start making the lion dance head, that thing that they like wear over their head, and I try to put it into perspective to make sure that it works with my character in the background. And I struggle with it a little bit, but I keep going through with just keep trial and error, just keep placing things down, trying to figure out where to go because I don't have the perspective too well down, so I just keep trying over and over again and just basically keep going until things work out, and then eventually it starts turning into the right thing I want. For the details, I start going in with the details after I get like the base body down. After I get the base body down, I start going into details and start adding like the belly button and the like divots and like the divots and the dimples and stuff that are in the body that you normally can't see where the muscles interact, stuff like that you won't be able to see on the model, and that allows my character to have a more realistic feel instead of just the outline of the model that I'm copying. Um, Next up is this is just the for this drawing I only used my sketch and I just cleaned up the sketch. I didn't use any line art for this one. So I placed down the sketch and and then afterwards I just cleaned it up. You'll see here in a second I start to clean it up and place everything perfectly. After it is all cleaned up, just doing the hands here. After it's all cleaned up, I go in and I use the wand tool and the lasso tool to make a gray base color over everything. It makes it easier to place everything, and because the line art kind of show my the brush that I'm using, it kind of shows the white background will show through a little bit. So I make sure I place down this gray, so anything that's on the inside of the line art will not look white because of the background or like blue because of whatever the background is. And then I make that dark and then basically make it the same color as the line art so it doesn't look like there's anything behind it pretty much. And then I get the base colors down. When I'm placing my base colors down, I put every layer. I make every single color pretty much a different layer that allows me to just put a extra layer and then clip it down and then draw whatever I need and do all the details and textures without having to interact with anything, accidentally interacting with anything else. And doing it that way allows me to make mistakes, and then I can fix the mistakes and go back to the exact layer I'm working on and just instantly fix it without having to redo anything. And then, as you can see, I'm drawing the lanterns here. I had no idea how to draw these lanterns before I started drawing. I learned along the way. I looked at tutorials and references and figured out how to draw them. And then I just applied it to my own drawing after I figured out how to do the tutorial and stuff. After that, as you can see, I get the lighting. I use a combination for the lighting. I use a combination of the multiplier and overlay layer for most things because it allows me to figure out where it basically allows the colors to harmonize well with all the other colors without me having to really do much. And I place it in spots I feel the light will hit the character, and then here I get the lighting on the floor and the shading and stuff. Make sure everything is interacting with the environment that's around it. Get some shading inside of the lion head. And then here I went back. I did the line art on the lion head again because of the fact that it was too round. I didn't mess with it. So I went back. I looked up online how to like draw fur in like more of an anime style, and I just went back and basically went over the whole thing, learning using what I learned and drawing the fur while looking at the references. And I was so much happier with how it looked. And I was able to fix that entirely just because I went back and fixed it. I just looked up how to do it, and it allowed me to figure out what to do with it. Here I'm fixing the base color, making sure the base color fits in with the new like line art I did, so it doesn't go off of the screen or anything. Let's see. Here, my character was not. I didn't like how my character was in the dark, so I placed some lighting on her face to make sure that she stands out from the background more. And that wasn't enough, so I tried placing some rim lighting on the side with just a regular cell shading brush. I placed some rim lighting on the side, which allowed me to it allowed the character to pop out more and be more out of the background pretty much. And the brushes I mainly used were just an airbrush, a cell shading brush, the lasso tool. It's not a brush. I do use the lasso tool and the wand tool a lot to allow me to get just like so I don't have to outline everything and I can just get in there. And especially the lasso tool because it's very smooth. If you use the stabilization feature that comes with it, you can get very smooth lines that allow for very easy fluid lines, pretty much. And that's about it. Here's the final drawing.